Good evening from the Central Illinois Weather Network. I'm Larry Eastep. A very busy night for the National Weather Service over portions of the Central Plains. Tornado warnings popping and severe thunderstorms with damaging winds in excess of 80 miles an hour approaching many metropolitan areas right now, including the Topeka, Kansas area, soon to be in the Kansas City area. Let's go to Storm Predator first. We'll show you what we're talking about here tonight. Let's go to the North Platte, Nebraska radar, and we'll show you these flashing cells here we've been watching with some very strong winds. And now a number of tornado warnings being issued to the south here. Here's North Platte here, and you can see storms stretching all the way up to the north part of this image and down to the south as well. And let's look at warnings right now. We can show you severe thunderstorm warnings stretch this entire path, basically circling North Platte, Nebraska this evening. And we have tornado warnings down to the south here. Let's get into those, and we'll tell you here. Southern Clay County, northwestern Nuckolls County in south central Nebraska till 9:30 this evening. Looking for a tornado to possibly be near Edgar by 9:30 Central Time this evening. Also, central Gosper County in south central Nebraska till 9:30 Central Time this evening. A tornado warning in effect for there. Let's go to the Kansas City radar if we can from Storm Lab, and we'll show you these storms stretching on a north-south line basically from just to the southeast of Lincoln, Nebraska, all the way down through Topeka, Kansas, and then back to the southwest. Just off your image here, we'll move a little further to the southwest, and we can show you Wichita, Kansas. Wichita, Kansas has some pretty nasty weather there, and in fact, tornado warnings just expiring in the past few minutes for some of these storms, as the National Weather Service now looking at a very damaging wind threat moving towards the Emporia area through El Dorado and right in the Wichita and Derby areas right now. Very threatening, damaging wind situation there. This is actually looking from the Kansas City, Missouri radar, so this shows you how intense these storms are. Let's take the Wichita radar a little bit closer in there. We're not going to get as much definition on these particular cells, but I want to point out these two cells up here that don't look like a whole lot on radar, but tornado warnings in effect for both of those, and those storms have had explosive development over the past half hour to 45 minutes. Those storms generally will put that in motion, and we can show you these storms generally are moving towards the southeast right now. And again, they weren't much just a half hour ago, but see these storms, both of them just kind of fire up, and a tornado warning for both of those moving towards the southeast at around 30 miles an hour. So that definitely not something to take lightly at all, even though they don't look very intense on radar. Folks in Sheridan, Graham counties in Kansas, watch out for the potential for tornadoes in your area. Let's take a look here at the Central Plains radar regional composite from Storm Lab. We can show you this mess of heavy rain moving into the Kansas City areas right now and all the way back through Wichita. And there is a potential for flash flooding with those. That entire line really starting to spin there and get itself together to a very compact system. So that's also going to lead to some very damaging winds moving into the Kansas City area over the next hour. Then you see this other line of storms here just really, again, encircling North Platte, Nebraska, and the southern, well, basically the central third of Nebraska from north to south. This evening is really feeling the effects of that right along that I-80 corridor there, and then down through Kansas into Missouri here soon along the I-70 corridor, also seeing the brunt of this severe weather this evening. Let's pull out again here on the Wichita, Kansas radar, and we'll show you these storms again moving now just to the east of downtown metro Wichita and also approaching from the west the Topeka area. We'll probably see that area go under a severe thunderstorm warning shortly. Then next in line would be Kansas City. And again, these lines, especially this particular cluster here right now that is moving towards the northeast, has a history of damaging winds and some large hail with it. And we've been seeing some very impressive velocity returns. We can put velocity on here and show you these very impressive returns we've been getting with this, the greens and blues in there mixed in with the red. That tells us we've got some very intense winds, and we have had a history of tornadoes with these cells as well, but they seem to be transitioning more into a damaging wind threat. Look at this gust front here too. You can kind of see it right on the leading edge of the precipitation. You can see the darker greens and reds here, and there even more clearly. That is damaging winds ahead of any precipitation, so don't be misled if you aren't getting rain or stormy weather where you're at right now. Also particularly concerned, this is fairly close to the radar site, so we may be getting some false returns here, but red and green very closely intertwined here just to the south of Wichita. Let's put the radar site itself up here. Let's see, well, I guess I can't do that on this one, but that'll give you an idea of where the possible circulation is, and again, a very intense rainfall with this. Flash flooding is definitely a possibility with those, and again with the storms moving towards the Kansas City area as well. We'll pull out here on the Kansas City radar a little bit further and show you those storms aren't very far away from the Kansas City area right now, and they definitely will be there well before midnight. We'll get the precipitation back up here hopefully on the screen for you, and we'll show you these severe thunderstorm watches from Springfield to Rolla in southern Missouri, also stretching from Kansas City up to Omaha, Nebraska, and Lincoln, Nebraska. Those are both under the severe thunderstorm watch there, and this tornado watch that the storms are now pretty much on the eastern half of, from Wichita all the way up to just to the southeast of the Lincoln, Nebraska area. So the eastern half of Kansas right now is definitely under the gun, and the northwestern and western parts of Missouri look to be under the gun next for potential severe weather. That Central Plains radar tells you the whole picture. There is copious amounts of rainfall, a lot of lightning, and some very damaging winds with that. One last look again at Storm Predator out of the North Platte area, and we can show you these storms are again holding together very well, and they are scattered, as you can see, all over the place on this particular radar image. And we can take you into the Goodland, Kansas radar here. This is the radar site right in the center of your screen where you see the beam sweeping around here with Storm Predator. And you can see these tornadic cells just to the east of the Goodland area right now. And these, again, are moving towards the southeast. Those were the storms we showed you a little bit ago, continuing to intensify, moving towards the southeast. Folks in the Hays, Kansas area may see these storms there eventually as well. Well north of Dodge City, but it has been a stormy night over Kansas. I'm sure those folks there are not looking forward to the overnight hours as these storms continue to build again back in from the northwest towards the southeast as the rest of the evening goes on. But those are the cells right there you're looking at on Storm Predator a moment ago that are producing tornadoes in that area as well. So that's the situation up to the moment, and as the overnight hours go on and into tomorrow, we're looking at the possibility of severe weather starting to shift towards the east, towards the Mississippi River Valley, so around the St. Louis area up through central and southern Illinois, the potential for some large hail and tornadoes as this area goes under the gun for severe weather for the next 24 hours. That's the latest as we see right now. I'm Larry Estep in the Central Illinois Weather Network.